Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, educators, and good morning, all the participants. I'm Keisha Aura as Prime Minister, and my partner, Ms. Elisa, as Deputy Prime Minister from the opening government. Our motion today is this House support the broadcasting investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. Our limitation today is only in Indonesia. Hear my argument. The House of Representatives has been made the new rules about broadcasting. But this new rules is realizing a controversial. According to TP Hasanuddin, broadcasting investigative journalism on criminal case will disturb the police investigation. Because journalism is supposed to be investigative, but this time they came out to do her investigative about criminal case. However, investigative is a very important job to journalism. Because Indonesian people can know about criminal cases that have been happened. So, the investigative journalism must be to do due to give benefit of safety for people in Indonesia. We know that many criminal cases in Indonesia. For the example, is criminal case that Tuduh Ferdi Sambo. He is killed. He is killed his partner. The investigative journalism on his criminal case is not to do as good. So here, I as Prime Minister still agree with the motion that this House support that broadcasting investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. Thank you.
To open the case of opposition, we call upon for the first speaker of opening opposition. Please start the argument.
First, thank you for the time. Good morning, educators, Madam Speaker, Council, and member of the floor. I am Akbar as the first speaker of the opening opposition would give a rebuttal and also deliver my argument. The first thing first, that from the opening government say that the limitation in only Indonesia. So that's why, what do you mean about Indonesia? The Indonesian is too far. And also, you not give reasons and clear explanation and clear definition about Indonesia and about the limitation. And the secondly, the first speaker of the opening government mentioned that broadcasting investigate the criminal cases disturbed at the police side. So the fact that when you say like this, because this support has to, because you mentioned that the broadcasting investigating criminal case is disturb the police. So that's you support us as opposition, right? So that's why it's fine when you mention like this. And also the government seems to disagree that with today's motion because see the motion that broadcasting investigate the criminal case destroyed by police job. So do I ask the opposition you mentioned that disagree with today's motion, but your position is our government. And by the way, thank you for supporting us, right? And secondly, as this case can implement that the investigation is ongoing, because that will instruct authorities and give a pleasure for and also the judges. It will be made a wrong prosecutor like the example case. The first argument is cast the wrong cast prosecutors. I will give the example from the case of the murder of Vina Cirebon by broadcast investigate the people is also kept to investigate by himself. So that made a wrong catch prosecutor who catch is Peggy, which is doesn't know anything about the kill case, and people just catch the suspect Peggy is from the picture and also the murder of the Vina. It's very dangerous because the people is used by subjectivity without research more about who is the killed of the Vina. And secondly, about the public opinion. From the case of Vina, we can learn that public opinion is have a big impact. Like we know that it will make a more cat prosecutor from the pennies from amateur before that, but a lot of evidence is used by subjectivity to conclude the case. If they continue this legal, what is that? If we continue to support the broadcasting investigation of journalism, it will give a pressure. So the pressure it will be had from the judges and also the police because they will be given pressure. Because the people is want to know who's the real murderer. Like the mention of the opponent government before they will disturb the police job. And so that's why I totally disagree to this motion that this house support the broadcaster of the investigate journalism of the criminal case that are currently undergoing a legal procedure. And for the next, my argument will be continue to my second speaker. And thank you for the time.
Next, we call upon for the second speaker of opening government. Please start your argument.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the chance to give to me. I'm standing here as the Deputy Prime Minister from opening government. And I'm still agree with the motion. This House support the broadcasting investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we know that there is a lot of corruption cases in Indonesia. And there must be an innocent investigative journalism to keep the process of the criminal transparent to the public. The process of the criminal, from that we can see that it is important to make investigative journalism. Indonesia is a democratic country where everyone is able to know everything about what's happening in the official government. Not only corruption, Indonesians face so much problem to developing our country. Supporting the broadcasting investigative on criminal cases and the same to advance our country. According to the hashtag #RevisiUU, we can see the impact of investigative journalism to this country. To develop our country to become an advanced country. And the people will realize it. And it means that not only the government that able to handle cases, but also the people maybe will help a little bit with their action. With this argument, I still agree that this House support the broadcasting investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. Thank you.
To close the opening page, we call upon for the second speaker of opening opposition. Please start the argument.
Thank you for the time. Thank you to all adjudicators, respected speakers, and all of your audiences. I'm Tasha Salsabila, and I'm from Mansatu Jepara. Today, I am as the second speaker from the opposition team. Would like to say that I today's motion that this House support the broadcasting of investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceeding. Well, the first thing first, I'd like to do rebuttal from the government team and also continuing my argument. And lastly, I would like to reassure all of the argument from the opening government. First thing first, the rebuttal. Well, it can be deniable that the fact that the opening government, the first opening government already mentioned that she seems to agree with, she seems to disagree with the motions because she's mentioned that broadcasting media are the job police. It's not can be deniable. However, the second speaker of the government mentioned that she's agree with the motion today. So it kind of mislead. They are the two of the government. The opening governments have a different opinion on that. And secondly, when the second government mentioned about that broadcasting media, it caused the transparency for the to public so that people know about what exactly happened in Indonesia. But what exactly happened is you should pay attention the of the effect after that because the Indonesian people would have an opinion that our laws, our Indonesian law are broke. So that should be so that you should pay attention of that. However, I believe that instead of broadcasting media should investigate criminal cases that undergoing legal proceeding, I believe that we can broadcasting the investigative journalism from the the criminal cases that already done. Like we take a look from the cases, the Jessica Wong Saw, the Coffee in Siamida, the case already done, and the broadcasting media like Netflix are showing what exactly happened with that case. So we are know what is happening, not just assumptions, not just by opinion public like my first speaker mentioned before. So I believe my first argument is human resources, secondly about tendency of public opinion, and lastly about unprotected witness. The first thing first about the human resources. Well, the first opening of the government already mentioned about the cases, the criminal cases is only happen in Indonesia, right? And we know the conditions of human resources in Indonesia are, I would like to say that it's lack of knowledge about that. So we might think about the readiness about the human resources itself, about how the human resources accept the informations of the media, because most of us are kind of easily fooled by the hoax newses or something like that. So people are really easily to persuade to believe the fact, to believe the cases that don't really fact that. Well, about the human resources, we need to consider the human resources first because is that human resources already ready to get information. Most of people, like for example, we could say narasi like that. But most of Indonesian people didn't watch the narasi TV like that, the factual broadcasting. Most of us is like just going to the news from Facebook, etc. And that's not. There is a lot of bias on that causes, right? So we need to pay attention of the wrong information because we have the lack of human resources. And secondly, about tendency of public opinion. Well, actually, my first opposition already mentioned about the public opinions. Well, I believe that when we are showing the criminal cases that currently undergoing legal proceeding, it will persuade the public opinion. Well, because so that it comes to the legal proceeding. Example for Jessica Wongso that I mentioned before. Well, when we see 8 years, like Jessica Wongso are being jailed because of the criminal cases that and now are affected that she's just the victim, right? Not the real persecutor. So, but at the time, if we take a look back from the 8 years ago, the media, the public, the societies are seeing the Jessica Wongso as a persecutor because of just the media because the media are showing the journalism on the investigative journalism. The Jessica Wongso when they smile, there is she's persecuted because the smile is this weird smile, have a weird point, have a weird eyes point of view and something like that. It's just because the broadcasting media are showing to the media about the criminal cases that are undergoing legal proceeding. So that it's better to showing the criminal cases to the documentary. Like when we see the Netflix, Coffee's idea, Siamida, they are already show that what is happening. So there's a lot of sources about that. However, 18 years ago, they didn't do that. And third is about the unprotectedness. I believe if we're showing the criminal cases undergoing in the media, for example, like murder cases or something like that, we couldn't see that the murder cases with there is give opportunity to the persecutors to escape even to another city, to another like that. However, if we look from the unprotected witness, well, I believe that if we are showing to the media, of course there is a witness, there is a prosecutor, and I consider about the soundness of the witness. So then I believe instead of undergoing legal proceeding, I believe that broadcasting media should investigate the criminal cases that are already done. That's why I, as the second speaker from the opposition team, would like to say that I'm totally disagree with this motion because I believe that it will cause the wrong prosecutions, human resources, tendency of public opinion, and also unprotected witness. So that I believe this motion should fail at the end. Thank you.
To open the closing bench, we call for the first speaker of closing government. Please start the argument.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nadafiro as a first speaker of the closing government. This house support the broadcasting of investigate journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceeding. As we know that journalism is really important for the information. The information are not propaganda by the restricted law. Journalism has to be transparent and neutral and based on truth in the location. Journalism can be protected even by the apartheid. The broadcasting is a very important project. The broadcasting goal is inform the people about case, so broadcast should be transparent and won't be interrupted because the broadcasting was protected by the law, and the law should be not changed by Parliament. And Parliament should not changing the law because it will be protested by people and disrupt the international law about pairs and human rights also. And our nation will be mocked as a anti-bars and anti-human rights nation. So our nation get a negative impact because of that. So our nation would be mocked as a dictator nation. Let's take the example, the FINA cases. As we know, the murder wasn't found because the police getting wrong people to go to jail because as a rumor that the victims that is police and And as we know, our police reputation in Indonesia is negative because many cases cannot be solved by the police, like kidnap cases, abuse of the case, and more. You just know. And the restricted laws should not be changed because our police reputation is negative right now, and the people not believe in police. So that's my argument about this House support the broadcasting of investigate journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal procedure. I'm Nadal Ferro, the first speaker of opening and closing government. That's it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next, we call upon for the first speaker of closing opposition. Please start the argument.
Okay, thank you for the time and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the time given and moderator by the time that given to me. The honorable judges, committee of English debate, and all participants. Before I begin my argument, let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel Rifki as a closing opposition member, and with my partner is Aswinda as a closing opposition whip. And with our motion today, there is this House supports the broadcasting of investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. First of all, I wanna respond the first speaker of closing government that he say there is broadcast is a action that is protected by law, but if that is protected, but the action is disturbing the police job, will it effective again? I think it's not. So with that, we disagree that this House supports the broadcasting of investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing. We disagree with this motion today. And first of all, let me tell you the definition of the motion. First is broadcasting. Broadcasting is a process collecting data by us, the person on the case. And the two is journalism. Journalism is a person that have a job to collect the data and show the public and so to public. And three is criminal case. Criminal case is a case and by doing that is bad and will doing that on police. Okay, let's continue to the argument. First, my argument why we don't disagree with this motion is first is it will potentially make the two bias or two perspective for the public. For the example, the police will give information and for the public, and the journalism is going to tell information for the public too. And with that, will make a bias or two perspective for public, which is correct, which is correct, which is wrong, like that. And the two is the public opinion can make the case even harder to solve by the police. With the journalism information that is not always right, that will make a public have a thinking, different thinking from the client cases. It will make a police job even harder. And the three is the journalism job will disturb the police job, like the opening government said, the journalism job will disturb the police job. And as the opening government says, this motion will in Indonesia, and I will give you an example in Indonesia. And this is the example. When the Basuki Cahayapurnama, aka Ahok, be in criminal case that related with religion, there is a journalist that come in Ahok prison and doing the broadcast. And that condition make a biased information on public. We know that criminal case is police job, and when the police is itself telling to public about what happened, it will not making a biased information to public. And when the journalism telling to public, it will make a biased information to public. There is public trusted the journalism more, and there is a wrong fact. And with that, we don't only disagree with this motion without the solution. We have a solution. There is journalism can do a broadcasting of criminal cases that are ongoing. So how the public will know about that criminal case? The public will know about the criminal case by the following by the police, following information by the police. So with that, the police job will not disturb, and the public will know the following information of the criminal case, and that will be win-win condition for police and public. And and by time we still disagree this motion today. That is, this house supports the broadcasting of investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. That's all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next, we call for the second speaker of closing government. Please start your cue.
Okay, thank you for the closing opposition first speaker. First of all, good morning everyone. Good morning for honorable adjudicator, esteemed opposition, and my fellow debaters. Before I begin, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nailuzia Azalia, and right now I'm standing as the closing government whip. And I would like to begin by responding to the second speaker of the opposition side. She said that it's better to publish a documentary instead of broadcasting the investigation of cases that are still undergoing legal proceeding. She takes the example of Jessica Wongso's cases, which the documentary was made by Netflix. And I do not agree with her argument, because sometimes if the documentary film was made, there are some things that are added to it, so the film would be more interesting to people. And public has the right to know about the truth. Meanwhile, if the documentary was made as a film, there might be something that isn't contained in the real cases. And the investigation team will be transparent if the investigation was broadcast on TV station.
And as what the opposition said, public opinions matter and people could jump the case if it was catered while it was undergoing legal proceeding. And mine can help if there are some people that do something related to the investigation or case. And that's all for me. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To close this debate, we call on for the second speaker of closing opposition. Please start your argument.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, this debate is breakdown into first, what is investigating? Investigating is part of journalism and it is an important job of journalism that must be done to make the Indonesian public understand. As we know, the limitation is on Indonesia. And then for the second, there's a motion. Is it the best option to support the broadcasting of investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings? For the example that the opening government has given, Ferdi Sambo criminal case, it set the media unclear even after the investigation. It made some people even support the murderer. And then, as the opening opposition prime has said, there's no reason for the limitation, and the first speakers state that it disturbed the police, which means just support us as opposition. And then, as the opposition opening said that public opinion has big impact. The Prime Minister has said that corruption needs investigation because we need transparency. For this context, corruption, the policy already have their own team to do the investigation, which is not journalists. And investigation make the unclear public opinion. And then for the tolak revisi UU, we need public opinion. We are not always ready to accept the narration from the investigation, and we could actually misunderstood the narration and just make the situation even more difficult to understand. And then the closing government state that many cases couldn't solve by police, but you did not state that the case would be solved after the investigating journalism. And then after an investigating journalism, many injustices still happened. We never know which side will have much power than the other. Is it the side that revealed or the side that making the case more complex to solve? And I believe that it is potentially making the case more difficult to solve and make it producing even more theories. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do not agree with this House supporting the investigative journalism on criminal cases that are currently undergoing legal proceedings. Thank you.
The debate on first match has finished. And please the participant return to your seat. Give applause to first match. Please give 5 minutes to judges discuss.